and suddenly, kaboom, we're laughing, and people are like, what are they laughing about? And just to be fair, before I introduce everybody and explain my merch, I did actually start late on purpose with Dave. We were ready to go, and I'm like, dude, no one expects your show to start on time, so I'm going to blame you. And we just chatted for a bit. I'm such a stinker. And because Kat is my guest, I see I don't have a ton of spam in the chat to begin. So we will say,
I'll get you next time.
I know you will. I'm going to have to learn to start checking into my streams before they start, because you get like a 2-hour jump on me with stuff. So we're going to say hi to Margaret and Jenny. Jenny is now helping out her twins, spamming the chat. I'm going to say a big hello and thank you to, hey, Mick, my guest today. We have Kat, our favorite ginger bibliophile. We have Leslie. I love that she's got her BGP there. Books, Gers, and Purrs, because I always say it the other way around. We have Stuart from Stuart Griffin and Alan from Big Hard Books and Classics, which, Alan, I still need to watch your tarot video, but life here has been nuts, and I need to catch up on BookTube. Hey, and Ven's not hiding out. Ven, okay, everyone plug your ears. Ven, you with that rice. Stick a kernel where the sun don't shine, man. I'm done with the rice conversation. It has become a nightmare. It's an ongoing thing with the Chaos Gremlins. We've been fighting about food. And then it continued on to Dave and Gareth, and they got into it about what's roast and what's eggplant and what do you call it in Britain. And I don't know. It wasn't full moon this week, but everybody was losing it.
Over rice?
Well, it's because Gareth was
Over
wrong.
rice.
It was just pot roast.
Yes. Well, and see,
I like rice.
I don't mind rice. And I don't know, Kat, how did that even become a thing in our Chaos Gremlin thingy? Someone said
I would have to look back. I honestly don't remember.
No, I remember, and it was Ven just being mischievous. We'll say that.
Get over like jasmine rice or sushi rice or any particular type of rice.
Well, I said something about fried rice, and he's like, no, fried is what you do with it, and you have to cook it that day, and then you put it in the pan. I'm like, no, day-old rice is what you use for fried rice. It's what they say on the cooking shows, and it just went nuts from there. And then Kat decided couscous, which, honey, it's a different grain, has nothing to do with rice. So she's throwing in couscous comments, and I'm like, I'm going to play my match 3 game because you're all just hurting my brain right now.
Well, rice.
Tomato, like, So,
and then we got to get some Rice Krispies in there because, rice is in the name.
And then we got into puffed rice, and it was like,
wow.
I'm turning off my Voxer, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, because
that works so well.
I like all kinds of rice. I'm easy on that.
Okay, so I'm outnumbered. Hey, Greg, I'm the only Canadian in the group. So here's the thing. And Kat, you don't get to answer because I already know from our chat. Yes, back at you, sweetheart. Minute rice, Uncle Ben's. 5 minutes. That is the rice I make. 5 minutes. You boil the water, you throw in the rice, and 5 minutes later, not sticky, not mushy, not gooey. Have you, by any chance, Leslie, Allen, or Stuart, heard of this product?
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
Heard of it. Yeah, heard of it. Yeah.
I don't use it though. I don't use it though.
You know what? I'm just happy you heard of it because Kat's like, what are you talking about? Margaret,
Oh.
no clue. I'm like, come on.
Sure,
I'm
man.
not.
Uncle Ben's.
Yeah, Uncle Ben's.
Yeah, it's like most popular. He's
It comes in a box, right?
Yeah.
I mean it's bleached white, it's but
Takes 5 minutes. And you can get
rice,
brown
yeah.
now.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, I take that
But
back.
it goes bad
They got all
faster.
grimy. Yeah.
Yeah, so I stick with white, and then Kat's like, no, rice takes 20 minutes. I'm like, if it takes 20 minutes, I'm making potatoes. Rice is 5 minutes. If I'm spending 20 minutes, I'm cooking me a good yummy potato with like butter and all kinds of stuff. And I can't
That takes
resist
even
this.
longer.
Oh, wait, there's Greg. How does Orla Rafferty like her rice? This was an ongoing joke from Thursday's live with Dave and Gareth. I was a guest, but I was at the stream. They talked about Orla Rafferty and forgot Margaret is the author of it. And Margaret was in the chat as well. We're like, so we're dropping all these hints. And they finally caught up and they're like, oh, crap. We're like, and yes, if you've tuned in to hear about the Vampire Chronicles, welcome to Chaos and Pandemonium on my live streams. And so, see, Stuart, I can feel your pain with the thumping and Renos, but I got mine with rice and quiet. Well, no, it wasn't, because the other day, as these clowns are going on with rice, my phone's going nuts at my dinner table. Beep, 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 as all the messages come in Voxer, and my husband's looking at the phone like, are you going to answer that? I'm like, no. He's like, but it's beeping. I'm like, I know. It's Kat and Ven going on about rice, and I'm not dealing with them right now.
But then you did, and Noah got dragged in.
So if you've come to join in on Vampire Chronicles, we're getting there. It just takes us a while. Thank you so much for everyone who can join us. I know between work and timelines or time zones, it can be a challenge. I always appreciate Team Rewatch. I very much appreciate all my guests being with me today. And I've introduced you. I'm going to chat my hat and then probably take it off because it's getting hot. So this is from the Arva Mill 1819, longest working mill in Canada, about 35 minutes up north from where I live, and the only place my spoiled birds will eat the bird seed from. So we've been going there for like 25 years. I need to, that's too hot, make an updated video. Such an amazing, lovely owner. And he's seen my video. Well, actually, my husband showed him. And I'm like, I'll be standing over yonder because I can't stand my voice on videos. But thankfully, he liked it. I'm doing an updated one. I've got new merch to do the updated one. And he's given us 2 tours of the actual mill. So we've been able to see all the old equipment and stuff. So cool. And such a sweet, sweet gentleman. And I'm not saying that because I know he's a subscriber and watches my videos as well. I don't know if he watches the live streams. But we are today chatting the tale of the body thief and Memnoch the devil. And I'm going to have to go by memory on body thief. I didn't get back to it. Memnoch was my first time read. So first off, let's do a check-in. Team Lestat or Team Louis? I am Louis. Kat?
Lestat.
Leslie?
Louis, forever.
Stuart?
I would say I'm still Lestat, but after reading Tale of the Body Thief, maybe a little less Lestat. And we can discuss that.
Okay.
So, you know,
All right. To be continued during our discussion. Alan?
Lestat.
All right. So we have 2 definite Louis, 2 definite Lestats, and 1 potentially on the fence coming over to the other side. But before we get into the books, and Stuart, you made an excellent point in, I think it was one of your weekly wrap ups, when you shared, and to be honest, I haven't read the series in order. I've been kind of hopping all over the place. So this time will be my first in sequence in proper order. But you made an excellent point, Stuart, that you first read The Vampire Lestat versus Interview, which is what changed some of your perspective, correct?
yeah, because Lestat telling his own story, that was, I mean, I think a lot of people think Interview with the Vampire is better, but because I read The Vampire Lestat first, that was my view of him. And then when I went back, read Interview with the Vampire, I wasn't as trusting of it because Lestat had, you know, because I've been introduced by Lestat and Interview with the Vampire Lestat.
Yeah, and I mean I hadn't considered it, partly because I started reading them when they were released. And so I picked up Interview first, and then when Lestat came out, and when I was listening to your video, I thought, yeah, I can really see that if someone picked up The Vampire Lestat first, that would definitely sway your opinion on the type of character that he is. Well, until we get farther in the series and his choices. But yeah, Lestat, because he fills in all the gaps, right? Whereas in Interview, Louis telling it just from his perspective, and he doesn't know all the backstory of Lestat. So I can see how that would really sway your opinion on the characters. And I'm not going to lie, Louis is a bit of a little whiner, but dude got turned and it wasn't his choice. So we'll give him a pass on that. Now, granted, Lestat also got turned against his choice. But Lestat is a much more adventurous, all right, let's get this party started. And then he's off to the next adventure, right? Like as much as he seems to get down, and he does, then he picks himself up and he just goes racing headlong again. Like in Tale of the Body Thief, and like I say, I didn't get a chance to reread it. It was just a few months ago. And thinking back to Interview and everything that happened with Louis and Claudia and Madeline and Armand, it's almost like Lestat didn't learn crap from them burning him and tossing him in the creek.
No.
Like, dude is all about Lestat. Now, the one thing, and I think this is the first one where we hear about the Telemasca, correct? Or did
No,
we
that's
hear?
Queen of the Damned.
Did we hear in Queen of the Damned about Telemasca? Okay, so see, this is why it's good to have a group. But I do like the character of David. Like David Talbot is absolutely one of my favorites. Human vampire. Dude is like the foundation of a lot of things. So in here, we have Lestat again running amok, doing crazy things that Lestat does, wanting David's help, jumps in without thinking about long-term consequences.
Jumps into.
And we can do spoilers. Alan, go ahead.
Oh, he decides to try a human body again. You know.
Even though he knows there's risks.
I always
Mhm.
liked this novel in the sequence of vampire novels, and so I enjoyed rereading it. There's a lot to talk about. You know,
Yeah.
uh, the guy who does it, James, and then they do it uh, at astrally, you know, and the first thing Lestat goes for almost is sex, and it's kind of it's violent. The second time, it's with a nun. Um, those are some of the spoilers. No,
That's okay. I put spoilers galore in the thing, so
I mean,
people know we're
I'm kind of
talking
going
to
out the sex angle, because he's in a body again for the first time, so he can eat again, and he can do all the things humans do, all the good things and nasty things. Not, I mean by that, like bodily functions.
Yeah.
He enjoys that.
Well, because it's been centuries, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's kind of humorous, but I don't know. Leslie?
How do I eat spaghetti?
Wait, what was the question again?
We're
No,
just
we just-
talking about body thief and
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You want me to go off? I'll go off.
Yeah.
I read it, and there's two things that stuck out to me. By the way, before I say this, I love all my monsters. Okay, so I love them all. Okay. Before I read them the filth. All right, David, is that his name? David.
Yes.
Talbot?
David
Yeah.
Talbot.
I love him,
Mhm.
but there's certain things I forgot, especially like where it goes later. But specifically this book, I found like that I was taken back. I have no recollection, which just, I guess parts of my brain is getting smarter, but then my memory is getting worse because I don't remember, like, it seems like he kind of fetishizes the Brazilian people. So early on, it's like he's fetishizing a people, but then like that's actually like foreshadowing for the body he jumps into. And I'm like, so basically he colonized someone's body, which had me laughing. And I was like, I don't know how to feel about this 2025. And then with Lestat, again, no recollection. I remember this being a fun like adventure book. And basically he does what Lestat does. He just he's on impulse, jumps into a human body, and then he's like, whoops, sorry, lady, that I graped you. Here's some jewels. By the way, are you pregnant? And I was like, what?
Right.
I was like, what is this, Lestat? And then so he's just constantly, even in this book, he's showing us how much he hasn't learned because he says, like, because of the experience he had with a woman, he's like, I'm going to carry the shame forever. But then that's also foreshadowing because then he forces David has clearly said what he doesn't want to be, and then he does the same thing to him. So I don't think he could really like say what he did to that woman was like it was like I stumbled into this body because I'm like, but that's like his pattern. Is he forced Louis? Although I don't remember if it was really forced Louis to become a man to David, and then he did it to this woman. I'm like, dang, Lestat, see a therapist.
Yeah.
Those are my thoughts.
You have to blame Anne Rice. Ultimately.
I wonder about that woman.
Yeah.
Stuart, what were your thoughts with Lestat and Body Thief?
I kind of similar to what Leslie was saying. Like, for one thing, and I want to say too, like I read these out of order because I got Memnoch from the library and I had to wait for Tale of I mean, I literally got done with Tale of a Body Thief in the last hour. So that's how recent it is
wow.
for me. So it's really fresh in my mind. The other books were a couple years back, but like the first thing I thought is like as impulsive as he is, I really found it was a little bit of suspension of disbelief that he would like make that switch into James. It just didn't like I don't know, as impulsive as he is, it didn't seem to quite make sense to me he did that. And then like the reason I said I think a little less of them, and maybe it's unfair of me to think, but that I use the YouTube parlance, the SA scene that you guys are talking about. That you know, I okay, he's like when he was human, it was like 200 years ago. Things were people thought different stuff like that, but I still found it disturbing.
Yeah.
Because it was almost like he kind of knew he was doing wrong when it was happening. And then as you guys said, he like kind of like almost like maybe paying her off later for it. And then like when he like it's almost similar to SA what he did to David, because David didn't want it. And like okay, afterwards he seemed to like it as the book closed, but he was fighting and fighting. So that's why I'm still like Team Lestat, but I'm a little less Team Lestat for maybe those reasons.
Yeah, and because he doesn't seem to learn. But before I say a little bit more, Kat, what were your thoughts with Body Thief?
Lestat's interesting, but dumb as a box of rocks. Like his narcissism gets him every time. I love when he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go in this human body." There's absolutely no way that this could backfire like at all. Like he wants some money. He couldn't possibly get it with my body and my voice. Like, and then of course, you know, he assaults that woman because, hey, it's been 200 years. Wait, things are different now. And then like goes and like, oh, I learned my lesson. Except for David keeps saying he doesn't want to be one of us, and I made him one anyway. So like, he has no conscience, no thoughts, and he's surprised folks are mad at him. But then eventually end up kind of sort of helping him anyway. Like, dude. But I will give him the redeeming factor of there was a doggy in the book and he really loves the doggy. So, yeah, you know, he gets some points for that one. But, like,
I do have to admit.
He's interesting, but if I had to actually deal with him as a human, he's like a coworker. No.
Well, and that's the thing. And I did forget that he had his dog Mojo. So I will give Lestat brownie points for that one for sure. But yeah, I mean, David's made it pretty clear. He finds the vampires fascinating. And yeah, which one? Maybe I'm jumping ahead to Memnoch. This is why I haven't gone ahead to read Armand, because I knew I was going to get, and I don't have all, see, and I was showing Kat before we started. So I have Mind Webs, so you can't quite, but that's only for book one. I'm behind getting them done. And then I'm setting up a little 4x6 photo album with index cards. So I have all the books in order, and then I'll have little summaries onto index cards. And I might even get these done before the next live stream so I can just open my little cards and go, oh, yeah. But
cool.
At some point, David was saying that he wanted nothing to do with the Talamasca again, but I think that's at the start of Memnoch. But I mean, the Talamasca has been David's life. He's into the research and the studies. I mean, basically, these people are his family. But he finds something very fascinating about Lestat. And you know, whether it's his adventurous spirit or his consequences be damned, and off he goes to either, you know, all the crazy things that he's done, like with Akasha, and even with what's Oh, who is the first boyfriend? Nicholas, the violin player?
Yes.
And they take off to Paris because they're going to have this great life. And he gets into acting, and he never, and I'm just going to apologize to everyone in the comments right now. I'm kind of skimming through them, and I'll try and catch up at some point. But I mean, Lestat doesn't stop to think about any consequences or anyone else, right? It's, oh, I want this experience. How's this going to go? And Kat, you said it with him hopping into the body, right? It doesn't even seem to occur to him that this could go way wrong. And David's going to have to save his stupid vampire ass yet again. It's almost like he turns him into a vampire because he knows if David doesn't stick with him, dude's screwed. He's running out of almost gets done in without David. Thought?
That's a good point. I mean, that's kind of how the book ends with what would happen if James died, with he steals his body and all that, and Lestat can't get back.
Yeah, I mean, Lestat is the ultimate do first, think later. And lucky for him, either Louis or David are typically not far away because, I mean, even Louis has brought him back from the brink more than once. And I mean, we'll see a bit more as the series goes on how that plays out. But, like I say, with David, he was older, and I can certainly relate, not all into the aches and pains that come with as you age and the body breaks down.
Yeah,
but he's still
72, I think 72. So he was he got used to the good things that come with the vampire.
Yeah, and he didn't want to become an immortal, and then suddenly he's in a young body that looks nothing like what he used to look. And basically he wasn't getting ready to like kick the bucket or anything like that, but he knew he was coming to the end of a long fulfilled life because he did enjoy all his studies and all of that within the Telemasque and the group that he had there. But then suddenly he's a young immortal. As I'm saying that, I'm like, how the hell do you wrap your head around that going, yeah, I'm almost out of here. Oh, shite, I'm here forever. Sure, you could fly in and take out Captain Makeup and not get caught, but life be cray-cray. Do you still want to be around 200 years from now? I don't know.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
About the love of my life, Louis. Okay, a couple of things.
You're so obsessed.
I really am. You see, the characters were just so I just find it hilarious because yes, Lestat in some ways does what he does on impulse, but he goes and seeks out the advice of not one, but he basically has two husbands. Yeah. Who's a hot mess and has two husbands? He goes to Louis and he doesn't like what he says. I'm like, of course, you went to the person that wrote a book and that you did not like the how you were perceived, but you go to him for advice, don't like it, then you're like, I'm gonna burn your place down. And then he goes, screw it, let me go ask my other husband. Then he goes ask David, and he doesn't like the idea either. And he says, screw it, I'm gonna do it anyway. So it's like, I think it's impulse, but beyond impulse, which is wild. And so, story be told, I guess I need to become hinged because by the end of this book, both his husbands are now his immortal husbands, and they go off to a fair What is this? Thoughts? Continue.
But that's a good point. Stuart, do you have any thoughts you want to throw in about suddenly becoming immortal or anything we've been
Yeah, well, actually, yeah, and one other thing too, but yeah, it's like for not wanting to become immortal, David sure quickly was happy to be immortal. You know, maybe too quickly, because it was really just like, you know, last few pages of the book that happened. Yeah. And I do think too, like related to Louis, like in the end of the book, Lestat is angry with Louis, but Louis was like had Lestat's best interest, knowing like, you know, he wouldn't turn into a vampire a second time, you know, and like the one who should be angry is Lestat burned down his house, like you guys said. He's the one that should be angry. So, and I just say like one other thought too, the Lestat Louis comparison and who you would choose in a book. I might choose Lestat. If they were people, I'm going to choose Louis. I'm going to be wary of Lestat. So, you know, it's not assuming they're vampires, but just that kind of characteristics. So, you know, what I might enjoy reading in a book is kind of different what I want in my life. You know, I want the stable person in my life, not the charismatic, you know, impulsive individual.
Huh.
So what I want to read and what I want to be with, you know, friends with is two different things.
And that's an excellent point as well, Stuart. And I was just thinking, and I mean, I know Kat and I have talked about it, and I'm not sure if the rest of you watched Dark Star's Cavern. And recently she's had a video about these things called boyfriend boxes. And it embarrasses me that it's a Canadian company and they've been around for a bit. And it has to do with dark romance. And you get these toys and scents and clothing like a shirt, hoodie, whatever that would be like the character in this book that you get, and all this other kind of stuff. And so, no, Leslie, I don't think you're that obsessed with Louis and the rest of them, but it just reminded me there are people out there. Again, Alan?
You said it's a boyfriend box?
It's a boyfriend box. Yeah. And the point that Dark Star was making, and I love that Stuart just mentioned this as well, is when some people read material, whether it's this stuff or this dark romantasy or whatever, they kind of forget there's a difference between a book and a character and real life. And these boxes, I mean, okay, I'm cheap. I shop at the thrift store for a reason, but there is no way I would be spending $2,000 a year on 4 boxes that come with a dildo, a book, a spray, and a shirt or whatever clothing this character would wear to pretend you're prancing around with some dude in a book. Like, I could get a lot of books at the thrift store for $2,000, and dildos are cheaper at the like whatever store. You like, how many do you need? Seriously.
I'm so mad that all of us as a collective did not come up with this idea. We could be billionaires by now.
We should come up with like the Vampire Chronicles box. We'll have a team Louis and a team Lestat, but no dildos, because like no way. I don't want to be sued because someone did something wonky with it. Like, forget that.
You forget, they can do something with anything. Doorknobs.
They can write the instructions.
Yeah.
Handle with care.
And sorry to but they're having a great time chatting about the Thursday's live stream and all of that. But yeah, so with Body Thief, like Lestat doesn't learn. Even after the trauma and everything that happened with Claudia and just that whole nightmare and dealing with Armand again. But here he is, and you're right, Stuart. Like, David catches right on to being immortal and hops into bed with Lestat there in like record time. And he's like, yeah, okay, I'm over it. Let's go.
Yeah.
And okay, granted, again, fictional characters. I don't know. Lestat might be fun to hang out with for a weekend, but like, dude is just trouble in spades. Like, you wouldn't want to hang around with him for a few months, because who knows who's going to show up at your door looking for him shortly thereafter.
But he knows it and he loves it. And by the end of Queen of the Damned, after he went off with Akasha and committed mass schmedicide, at the end, Louis like, oh, you're so bad. And then Lestat's like, but I like it. Call me bad again.
He just the guys like the crazy, and Lestat is your like epitome of hot mess.
Well,
All the unhinged goes to him for more unhinged in their life.
Yeah, going
Or
along
immortal
with,
life.
with Elaine's dildo talk, somewhere in there is like a shame kink.
They're not my dildo.
She's got a whole other collection that she pretends about.
that's another
nothing
Oh,
box.
I don't have that. Don't look in that corner.
Yeah, and nothing to do with those kind of toys. Like, let's not be getting that out there. Like, little Miss Prude here. Thank you much. Okay, back to what you were saying, Leslie.
Oh,
I didn't know
but
it
you're an
Dragon
artist.
collection.
You're not that much of a prude because I had no clue that existed company, but I did write it down for research. So let's see where that goes.
Okay, wait. No, I'm not going to ask you on air what you're researching. So,
Stuart, any thoughts about this?
I got
That's the after show
don't know
talk.
such things exist myself. I was just thinking as you guys are talking, it's not surprising we don't know about it because we're sitting at home reading, but so we wouldn't be aware of these things, I guess.
well, okay.
And pay all that money, I can't imagine that. People spend crazy money these days, but yeah, like you say, how many books you can get for a couple thousand? A lot. Really nice
Exactly.
editions too. if you
Well,
want.
and this is it. And I mean, Darkstar, and she had been talking about it to make the point of it's a scary item because people blur that reality fiction line. And she had also a while before been talking, and this actually happened in the States. I can't remember where it was, but it was one of these dark romance. It's like a Comic-Con, but for dark romance readers. And some of the stuff that happened there was just beyond horrendous. And it was women attacking. I can't remember if he was one of the people who posed for some of the covers or if he was a writer, but either way, it basically was a mob going after a man, which was just ridiculous, and more horrendous things that had happened. So the reason she made, because she follows, I'm not even sure where they would be. They're called threads, so I don't know whether that's like a TikTok, Facebook, whatever kind of thing. And so she just becomes aware of different things happening in the book community, and she also reads a lot of arcs and different things. So she's connected with a lot of people. And yeah, so if not for her channel, I certainly wouldn't have known. And I was mortified to find out that this is a Canadian company. And there's a big bugaboo right now because you put in your order and it may be 6 months or longer before you get the box. But there are 4 boxes a year. So you've paid out all this money for something that doesn't even show up at your house. And again, for me, I'm like, I want to know what the book is. Like, if the book shows up and it's not something I'm going to enjoy reading, what good is all this other crap? Like, hey, Luna. And that's the other is you're getting all these products based on the character in this book, but you don't even know if you like the book yet because you haven't read it. It shows up in this package. And to me, that's a lot of coin down um, for a big maybe, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Apparently these folks have more money than brains to be like, here's $500 on a, I might like it, and a toy I
right?
can get cheaper and faster at any store. There's a lot of them advertised. Or
I mean,
sites if you don't want to be seen with it.
well, I can't imagine paying $500 for a book that I've never read. Like, I know nothing about it. I have, other than it's like a dark romance type of whatever thing. $500 for a book with toys? We have adult stores where I'm pretty sure those toys are cheaper, and I can go to the thrift store and buy me like lots of books for $500 because I shop the $1 shelf when I start there and go from there. But yeah, I mean, Lestat would probably spend that kind of money, but
True.
Just,
it's
There's also
you
rich
know,
and idiots.
I'm sure
So,
they have
yeah.
they have clubs and that. I mean, Jess at Jess book TV girl. I always mess her name up. She went to a Anne Rice thing just last week in New Orleans.
oh yeah.
Logged it, yeah.
Yeah,
So
they're celebrating her life. Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure they have. They all kinds of clubs and fandom for Lestat. I don't know if they, but I applaud their ingenuity and enterprise for doing it. I guess, and more power to them.
Well, and that's it. There's obviously a customer base because
Yeah,
this isn't the first year, and they're getting orders,
right.
and they only make so many boxes per book. So you have to get in and order early. Now, the Anne Rice thing, and I know Jen from Literally Love 123 has gone to a number of Stephen King things and picked up stuff. So, I mean, stuff like that, I can see people, and even this other dark romance event. The event itself was fine. It was just some people didn't know how to behave in public with other people present. But I think it's awesome when you can do that type of thing and connect with other people who enjoy what you're reading, enjoy the author and the work, whether it's the genre or a specific author. I think with the Anne Rice thing, don't they actually take a tour around? Is it the Garden District where a number of the stories take place?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there might be a tour involved. And I know Jen mentioned there was stuff with Stephen King that they walked around and you could see certain landmarks that had come up in his books.
She's buried with her husband and daughter there in I forget the name of the famous cemetery.
Oh yeah.
Still there. You take pictures in front of her house.
Yeah, see, that would be interesting because I mean, whether you enjoy her books or not, she's definitely had a huge impact on the vampire genre and written a number of works. And Leslie laughed as we were chatting about this at another time. So I watched 4 episodes of Vampire. I will only be watching 4 episodes of Vampire.
Caught another one, guys. Good.
Here's where my little prude comes out. I don't need to see the boom chickawawa. Not interested. Not saying it wasn't an important part of the story, but I can do without seeing Louis and Visual doing each other in my head for the rest of my life. Like, there's no delete button. I can't unsee that now.
They were elevated, guys.
They were elevated. Because you weren't,
Fires and wings.
you weren't
Into the sky
missing
again.
nothing. It was like, have you ever seen True Blood, Stuart?
I have not. No.
Okay. Kat, you watched it.
Very good, but very spicy.
First 10 minutes of True Blood, and now you got the first episode of Vampire. There is nothing left to the imagination. Not my kind of TV viewing. Didn't watch all of the Game of Thrones because there's some things I don't need to see visually. I just don't.
Yeah, I watched one episode of Game of Thrones and I hated everybody. I'm like, no, I can't do this. I liked the one little girl who was like, I'll whoop his ass, and now you're having my dogs killed as punishment.
Oh!
And then, like, that was the only one. Like, all right, she's the youngest child. We're kind of ignoring her. Like,
Yeesh.
Nope, I'm done with this.
Well, see, at least with Akatar, I can skim the pages, right? I don't need to read what Feyre and Rysand are doing in every book. It's like flip, flip, flip. There's 5 pages I didn't need to read. But you can't do that on TV because it's there. And you don't know how fast to rewind because then you're going to miss the story. But if you don't know that it's going to, because some TV shows don't show all of it. And some are like, don't you have to go to an adult store to get these kind of movies? This is like suddenly TV all hours of the day. I'm old. I'm not used to being shocked with that much skin. It
was this little bare ass in the sky. It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't a little bare ass. There were 2 bare asses mooshed together in the sky. And what
I
was
apologize to the
no.
actors. Some nice
I don't
bare
want to
asses,
know the
sorry.
in the sky part. I don't care why they were in the sky hanging on wires. And that had to be
Yes, they
something
could.
awkward.
It wasn't wires. I actually know this. They were on a seesaw.
Children's toys? Oh, come on.
But then they like digitally removed it, so they seem like. Anyways, I know too much.
Yeah.
Why were you watching the behind the scenes of how they banged, Leslie?
Because I intellectually needed to understand a scene, so I had to watch it again and again and again before I got what they're symbolically meaning. Again, the research, like this Canadian box set I'm gonna look into.
Understand, sure. Which one did you think was hot?
Now, the thing that I also found challenging with the TV show is the young Daniel. Like, that's just, I like the teenage Claudia versus the younger Claudia in the books. But the young Daniel totally messed me up because I'm used to, well, because we'll be coming up to it in the next book. But so before we totally get off track, any other thoughts? Tale of the Body Thief. Recommend, don't recommend, enjoyed it. Kat?
Okay, you go first.
I enjoyed it, but yeah, there are some very messed up, problematic things about that. And we've kind of decided now, Lestat, as the fictional character, is amazing. If you're going to treat it like real people and like be mad that they're stupid, stay far away because he is a narcissistic idiot that 2 centuries did not teach him anything. But he likes doggies, so, some redeemable qualities.
And he's really depressed, though, too, and he always ends up alone, too. So I don't think there's enough said about that.
That's a good point, Alan. Leslie, you were gonna...
Oh, could Stuart
Body
go
thief?
first? Because I'm gonna start running my mouth. So,
Sorry?
Stuart, do you want to go first? If you don't mind me saying.
Oh,
I just one thing I want to say, and I'm not even totally sure why this was, but with this book, there was some of it I had trouble like kind of getting through, like trouble concentrating. Some of it, part of it maybe was I was reading like well into the night, but other parts, I don't know. It just like I found myself rereading and stuff. Some of the passages I think I found for whatever reason I
Mhm.
found a bit boring.
Okay.
And that's of the 5 books we've read here. This is the only book it's happened with, and as I said, I'm not even sure totally why, but there was just times I just kind of had to force myself to try to keep reading it. Now, the last say 150 pages and stuff that was great, but there was parts before that when it was just I just struggled a little bit, keeping my interest. And
Okay.
and on a lighter note, I kind of wish I don't think they explained why Mojo was comfortable with a vampire.
Yeah.
I would have liked to seen like why a dog, because you'd expect dogs would be kind of like weary of vampires. I'd like to see that, but in general, I'd have a little more difficulty recommending this compared to the other 4 books, simply for that reason. I struggled on a fair amount of parts of it, kind of getting myself through it. More so the essay scene and the thing with David. That's tough. That influences what I think of Lestat, but some of the other writing and also early on, I kind of felt I didn't feel it was exactly the same voice with Lestat it was in the other books. I can't fully describe that, but I just didn't seem like he was talking kind of the same way. So, I mean, I still recommend it, but I have to admit I struggled reading parts of it.
Okay.
So.
And amazing observations about, who knows what was going on when Rice was writing that particular book, right? Because there are a lot of things that happened in her life as well. And I mean, it's coming up to Memnoch, so maybe things were already shifting a bit personally for her before she got to writing Memnoch, and that came through in some of the Body Thief.
Good
That's
point.
interesting. Yeah.
Possibly. Alan, Leslie?
I have some questions.
I have no answers.
42.
So, and let me get my pen out here.
Oh,
Oh, it's serious now.
On page 88, Lestat says about Claudia, because to Alan's point, he's very he's like depressed, and Claudia's haunting him in some way.
yeah.
Which I think propels him to do what he does. And he's thinking about Nicholas and Claudia, and he says, yes, she had been the only one who had been really like me, as they say in this day and age. What do you think about that?
Alan, Stuart, Kat?
It's profound.
That is surprisingly deep for Lestat. But he is kind of a he's either very manic, I'm going to go on this adventure and be insane, or very crying and depressed. And he just bounces all over hey, I had this nice deep thought. I'm gonna banish it by doing something really stupid. But, I forgot how much he kept going back and crying over Claudia, because it really was very much on him, and he did not learn or protect her very well.
Yeah, and I find that interesting that the one vampire that, because he's the one saying it, that he felt was most like him, was the one that he helped orchestrate their death.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell is that?
He did mold her from the time she was 5 years old, if you follow the books instead of the TV shows.
That's true.
Very impressionable as a vampire, and just as an individual.
But see, even as a teen, whether Claudia was the 5-year-old we've all experienced in the books, or the Claudia that's the teenager in the show. Yeah, I mean, Lestat would certainly have shaped and determined part of who she was going to be, along with some of the balance with Louis. But she most definitely gravitated toward Lestat as a vampire, even as the 5-year-old. If she had been older in the books, she would definitely have been a little Lestat.
Yeah, because David even gets the locket from Talamasca for Lestat, but then once he gets I thought he was gonna adore this thing, and then chucks it into the ocean. And I'm like, which one is it, Lestat? You're haunted by her? When do you want to keep that?
But that's it. He really grapples with emotions, any emotions. Like if he's almost bipolar, because he gets like uber happy, excited, and then just runs with it. But then Alan also made the excellent point that he gets really down into those throes of depression, and then we'll see him going down into the earth, and typically it's others who have to bring him back up. Like even in Queen of the Damned, it's the music, it's the connecting with people, or he would have stayed down there for who knows how much longer. Like he really goes to those extremes.
It's my almost my sentimental favorite, because I've read it few times, and I read it long ago, like Elaine did, and just the concept of him stabbed in a human body and all that goes with that. Interesting idea, and she took it suspense wise far enough for me.
Yeah, it's because there is so much to it. And again, the choices that he makes, the moving forward with going from human to immortal, beginning to understand different things. And of course, he's going to start to see Lestat differently. Because even though he does adjust quick to, oh, okay, well, maybe this isn't so bad. Oh, no more aches and pains. I'm good. Suddenly I'm over with being human. This is awesome. But there are so many other things as well. And
how's he going to get back to his body and all that happens with that? Just it's a great idea.
Well, and then what does he do in terms of the Talamasca? Because he can't walk back in as a vampire, right? These are the
research him too much. Like we're putting you in a little box.
And that's it, right? These are the creatures the Talamasca researches and checks out. And then we're going to get into, because I realized reading Memnoch, it's between the body thief and Memnoch that we have the crossover with the Mayfair witches, which is really bizarre, because in Memnoch we find out about what happened to Aaron, but it's been a while since I've read them, and I can't remember if that happens in Lasher or Teltos. And then the rest of the chronicles go on from there. So the Mayfair witches are happening around the same time as these first 4 or 5 books. That's why I found Memnoch kind of like, wait a minute, you're already mentioning Aaron? Wow. So the Witching Hour, or the Mayfair Witch series, that trilogy must have been finished by the time she wrote Memnoch. because she's already talked about what happens to Aaron. So I thought that was a bit odd. And I'm just noticing in the chat as well. And thanks everyone for popping in and doing the comments as well. Bye, Luna. Thanks for joining. They've also had their own chit chat about Game of Thrones and the boyfriend box in the chat. I'll have to go through and read them. And so I apologize for not throwing comments up, but we're kind of really getting deep in here with Lestat and Louis and see if we can sway Stuart to the other side with Louis.
The dark side.
Okay, Elaine?
Yeah.
All right. So in the book, so Lestat's in trouble. He's already like done the thing with Raglan James. And so I think like Lestat goes to Louis and David, and he's trying to like convince, like explain what happened. And Louis is told that like that Raglan James murdered Lestat's agent. And so Lestat is like, and what a clumsy sorcerer. To murder your agent is such a bloody and cruel thing. Why do you think the line for him was murdering the agent?
That is a very weird line.
Why did that
That's the access to my money.
He
might be shallow.
Is he human? No. And things like that. I think they.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Stuart.
But my battery's running out.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So.
Are we going to lose you?
Yeah. Pretty soon.
Oh, okay. So before you go, Alan, and thanks for joining, are we doing a separate reality soon?
Yeah, I was going to buy that at Powell's, but I didn't. I have to go back to Powell's, but we can start that. Sure.
It's okay. Whenever.
Okay,
so
I think I have it on audio or on Libby or one of the I think I have it on like a Kindle.
Okay. Well, give me a few weeks because life's been cuckoo and I'm trying to figure reading and things out. And before we lose you, Alan, as well. So the next two books are going to be The Vampire Armand and followed by Merrick. I was thinking, because December is a crazy month, it can be an emotionally difficult month, like for moi and numerous other people. January is equally cray-cray. So what if we do The Vampire Armand November, December, see how we're doing with Merrick in January, and then plan to do a live stream mid to end February on those two books. Does that work for everybody in their reading plans?
Yeah.
I think I can squeeze those in.
Alan, that's good for you?
Yeah, okay.
Perfect. So then that way, if we lose you in a few minutes with your battery, we got you all up to date with the vampire chit chat. And I'm so glad you could join us.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Alan.
Yeah, that's always kind of the challenges with batteries and things like that, for sure. Depending, I always keep my laptop plugged in because, well, I've been kicked out of my own live stream, let alone have my battery die. And I apologize to our participants, but yeah, our conversation's been pretty detailed, so I haven't been able to pop comments up this time. Good thing Dave and Gareth aren't here. Gareth is in Bath for his big booktuber meetup. So lucky to be in the UK and they can get together and go shopping together and awesome. But okay, now Leslie, did you have any more from Body Thief?
No. I'm good.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to check before we head on to Memnoch. Now, for me, this was my first read, like the first time I've read it. Have any of you read it before?
Yep.
Yep. Stuart?
I thought I did, but then when I read it, I didn't remember anything except at the end where he says something about turning from myth into legend or something like that.
Okay.
But other than that, I didn't. That line I remember. So, but I didn't remember anything else. And there's so much in there. It's hard to believe that I hadn't read it. But besides that, I couldn't remember anything. I would think I would because, I remember like some of the details of Tale of the Body Thief. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I kind of doubt I did actually. I think it was a first read.
And there's some pretty graphic stuff in here that if you'd read it, I'm pretty sure. So maybe that line comes up in some of the other
it came up somewhere else.
books. Now, I love the cover that I got on this one, although it's funny. At first, I look at it and I'm thinking it's a wolf, but it's actually his cape blowing in the wind. Now, other than near the end with Dora, that was a bit difficult to read with him and the Kotex. I don't know why that was included. Oy.
That should be part of the box you talked about.
Again?
That should be a part of the box you talked about.
Ugh. No. Stop it. Nasty. But so here we see a very, well, I guess not a very different part of Lestat, but he's pacing himself, hunting this individual. Because basically that's what he's doing. He's followed him for months. Part of him is holding off because of the daughter. And then again, he does this. He's concerned about something. He senses there's something following him. So he asks David for advice, but then does whatever he wants again anyhow. Like, why he asks people anything is beyond me, other than it moves the story along and adds to it. But you already know he's gonna do the exact opposite. It doesn't matter who tells him what. Louis, David, any of the other vampires. He's like, well, yeah, I asked you. You didn't tell me what I wanted to hear, so screw you. I'm going to do this anyhow. And then he ends up killing the father that night instead of continuing to wait. It's like, what are you doing? But and then I think the daughter's name is Dora, right? And I had a really hard time with how calm she was when we get around to them meeting. Because she's got, she's got her TV show and about so many other things. And then she, there's this vampire cowering in this huge empty building that she lives in by herself. And she's like totally cool with it. How did you find the story, that relationship between Lestat and Dora? Were there any moments, like for me at the end, where that was just like, I could have done without reading that. Thank you very much, vampires or not. Who wants to start?
I
I
could
know
start.
Leslie's got some thoughts with that face.
I'm trying to be like the last person because then I won't shut up. So continue. Go ahead.
Okay, so Stuart, you were gonna go.
Yeah,
So
I was just gonna say that the one thing, like, I guess I attribute her not being scared of Lestat's kind of to her faith, religious faith, but the fact she didn't seem to bother it at all that he killed her father was really strange. She didn't like that, like, I don't think the religious faith would cause you not to be angry at somebody who killed your father. Like, she just like totally. It was there, but it was like it didn't like cause influence at all what she thought of Lestat, and I found that part really kind of strange.
yeah,
Somebody kills your father. I mean, yeah, and you just like kind of brush it aside, and you're like, developing a relationship with this creature, I guess you'd say. But
yeah.
that part I found strange.
Well, yeah, because it's like literally only that day, the next day that he goes to meet Dora, because the ghost comes to talk to him, which freaks him out, which is kind of hilarious, a vampire freaking out about a ghost. But it's like, it's not like Dora had any time to come to terms with that death or anything. And you're right, Stuart. She's just like, well, shit happens. Dad was bad, so whatever. She just, hey, and so what is it like to be a vampire and yada yada kind of. So yeah, that's a good point. What were your other thoughts as far as the story? Like whether it's David or
I really like the story, and one thing I want to say is like I'm impressed by the audacity of Anne Rice because she kind of took biblical stories and modified them, and she actually had Lestat like drink a little blood of Jesus, and I think that's like incredibly audacious thing for an author to write. I mean,
yeah.
that's like that. I was impressed by how audacious I thought that was, twisting the Bible story, and on top, having Lestat drink the blood of Jesus. That was the ultimate in audacity, I think.
Oh
Inserting
yeah.
Lestat in that biblical history. I'm impressed by that.
Yeah, it was a wild read for sure from that viewpoint, like going right back and interacting, and yeah, it was something for sure. Any other thoughts, Stuart?
I really like the book. When I said like I wasn't sure Tale of Body Thief, it didn't seem quite like Lestat's voice. This book seemed like Lestat's voice from the other, well, the two books that he had, Vampire Lestat and Queen of the Damned, that he was telling the first person. His trips, the various, like even in hell actually, and all that, the trip through everything in there, I thought was, it really held my interest really well. I wasn't sure how it was going to be resolved. Actually, having Lestat meet God too is very audacious too when I think about it. So very audacious on Anne Rice's part. But yeah, it was thrilling. I just didn't know how it was going to go. I enjoyed the whole trip. So
Nice. Okay, good. Ladies?
I'm surprised this book didn't end up on the banned book list for multiple reasons.
Right?
Yeah. You got the whole, like, she didn't even have daddy issues. Like, yeah, he does bad things, but I like him. But hey, thanks for telling me you killed my dad. Oh wait, you're not human? What's the other thing like? You can like help me with my religious stuff. Like, yeah. I'm with you. Like, why are you not like initially pissed that, hey, you killed this guy that I liked, even if he was kind of sketchy? Like, that's some like religious zealot stuff going on there. But supposedly she wasn't one of those. She was just very bubbly and, actually walked the walk instead of just talking it. But then you get into the, like you said, I'm surprised at the audacity of this one. Just like, oh, yep, like it's Lestat. He is kind of struggled with religion and being good from, the get-go, despite doing lots of bad things because they entertain him. It's like, oh yay, I got to go see God. Wait, why'd you take me out of heaven? And the whole argument of basically, humans are just an experiment and God's kind of a dick. You should feel bad for me. Like, as the devil, I've been made to look like the bad guy for standing up for humanity. Like, how that managed to go into the print when it did. Like, this whole, we basically just kind of like have an argument going. That was very interesting. I love the whole kind of like evolution story that she kind of said in there, the like 13 tales or whatever that she called it. Like, this is kind of interesting. I can't believe it's been printed though. And that's with them taking stuff out, because the copy that I got now to replace the one that I got destroyed, it had even more stuff in it. There was like a straight up, not just, oh yeah, David like overheard a snippet of something that he thought was them.
Right.
There was like an actual like, hey, we're making a wager on humanity and we let Lestat listen in on this.
Yeah, I can't remember because I know you mentioned that, and I'm pretty sure in my copy there is the listening and taking a wager. So that's the other thing I find interesting is how different the different copies are. Like, it depends on when it was published and who published it. And it'll be interesting when we get to is it Blood and Gold, Cat, that you said had to be? So I'm not sure.
Severely edited. I remember when I got that one from the library, there were some scenes that would have fit with the current political arguments. A lot of them have been taken out of the paperback that I bought.
And it'll be interesting because I'm not sure what year my publication is to see if those parts are still in or not. Because again, these books, when they change and edit them, there's still a bunch of copies of the old ones out there that weren't edited. And I agree, how Anne Rice missed ever being on that book banned list is beyond me. Between Lestat swinging all over the place, guys, gals, you name it, if he can do it, he will. And that's never a bugaboo. The scene in Body Thief, which thank you for mentioning, because I would have forgotten that because I hadn't just reread it. Some of the scenes here with Dora, I'm like, wow, I don't know. But before I get into a bit more with Dora, actually, Kat, were you done with?
Yep.
Okay. Leslie? She's all set. Here we go.
Everything that Kat said, I had no clue about like edited versions later. That's before I go into it. That's very interesting because Anne Rice didn't even like being edited in the first place. Like the first one, I think was, and then after that, her editor, like they were an editor, but they didn't do any edits. She was like, heck no, I'm writing whatever I want. Which is why I think like the formatting is so creative in some of the other ones.
Yeah, explain some of the stuff in Witching Hour. Sorry.
No, Stuart, I think I like what you said about although I didn't notice it, but like I think you're really cluing into like maybe a lack of voice in Tell the Body Thief, and it's like stronger here. I felt like this one, Memnoch the Devil, I enjoyed just as much as, maybe not just as much, but it's right up there with Interview for me. Because she's kind of like embedding these religious philosophies in it. Like some of it kind of reminded me of like Dante's Inferno a little bit. And also the character Theodora, I wonder if it's because, as far as like how easily she goes on board with Lestat, I think there's a couple of things. Which one? One is like Lestat has so much power, so I just feel like because sometimes I feel like Anne Rice doesn't explicitly say it. It's like I have to remind myself, well, this is a vampire. He's powerful, so he's probably really alluring. So I think people get caught up in him because we're reading from his point of view. He's not going to say like it's also because of my vampirism. He's going to be like he's going to just tell the audience that it's because he's charming, and I don't know if that's like fully true.
Yeah.
And also she's like this. I don't know, but I know that Anne Rice like really questions like fundamentalism. And so I didn't really grow up that religious, and I'm not religious now. So I was like, had to learn how like fundamentalism is like, it's true, it happened, don't question anything. So I wonder that's kind of where her character Dora's coming from. She's just kind of like how Kat was saying, so deep in it that I think if someone really truly believed everything in the Bible happened, then they would make room for the supernatural, because that's also in the Bible too, basically. So I also think that she's like on the other spectrum of an unhinged of Lestat. Just like she seems like this calming presence, but I don't know, something about her, how they lock in together. I think and considering what she does later, I'm like, oh, this lady, there's like this undercover unhingedness to her. That's just like bubbling beneath the surface. And lastly, I know I brought it up in our Voxer chat, but still to this day, I love that Lestat looks at Dora and is like, well, she has another rich daddy now.
I forgot about that, but oh my god, yep.
It's burned in my brain.
Got a sugar daddy.
This is the wrong sugar daddy. Don't be calling yourself daddy and then do what you do, Lestat.
Right?
Pick a lane. Pick a lane. He can't be both.
I wish that was true, but humanity.
I'm trying to think. Oh, also in chapter 6, we learn, I think David says that he saw Armand and Louis in Paris. And that kind of threw me. So I'm like, I know that Louis and Lestat, there's so much mourning for what happened. But to know that he's over there just traipsing around with Armand again in France, I'm like, okay, so is everything cool now? Can we get a chapter about that? Like,
Yeah.
you're the one hoping about your daughter.
That's the next book where they hate each other, but they're friends, but they hate each other. Like, again, pick one. Even in that same book, I think, didn't he have an argument with David, telling him, like, no, I hate it. We're not friends. But we go and hang out. Like, come on now. You're just jealous because y'all are both fighting over Marius.
Yeah.
Well, and that's it. And it's kind of the funny thing, because sometimes I find the books can be standalone, because there's kind of an ending to most of them. And even reading them out of order isn't too bad. But yeah, once you start reading them in order, you're going, wait a minute. Yeah, how did that end up happening? But we didn't get an explanation reading it in order. So do we put the pieces together ourselves and, make it up as we go? Because between Louis, Lestat, Armand, Marius, there's a lot of stuff that happens between those four. And then now David will be joining the mix. Like Lestat has a lot of partners. And the whenever it's with women, I mean, it doesn't go good with men, but it really goes bad with the women. Like they go like off the deep end, goes bad with women. The guys are just vampires. What's that, Kat?
The crazy guys will send you off the end with all that gaslighting. Stay away from anyone that's crazier than you're crazy. It doesn't go well. You got to be equal levels of crazy.
Well, then Lestat wouldn't have anyone to get jiggy with because, oh, wait. Well, Armand's not exactly stable Mabel either.
No, but
No.
I mean, Armand, to be fair, was swooped up by Marius when he was like 11 and then turned at like 16, contrary to the movie.
Mm.
And there was some stuff that went on.
Well,
That was-
and that's the other part is, for as much as I joke about Akatar and all the stuff in there, really going through the Vampire Chronicles is not for the light of heart. Because there are some very graphic scenes. And like I mentioned, this one at the end, with after Lestat gets back. Well, I'll get into that in a bit. Leslie, any more thoughts on
Yeah. Two more, and then I'll. I could not. And speaking to my point about this, Lestat must have some vampiric allure that he's not really saying, because he actually says, I think of Dora at this point. He goes, "Temple Virgin, nymph of the wood." Let me tell you, that line would never work on me, and it's not going to work on Stuart, Elaine, or Kat. That would not work. He'd be like, "Get the hell out of my apartment." What's wrong with you? That's one. Tell me otherwise. But then the other thing that I felt like really sets up why I think Lestat sees himself the way that he does, because we all kind of want to be the hero of our own stories, was that he's having a conversation with Dora, and he says, "Do you sense the evil in me?" And she says, "No, you're too beautiful for that. You know it. So if you're beautiful, you're not evil?"
apparently.
But yet we had Claudia, who was an adorable little doll that enjoyed draining people. Like,
Yeah.
that kind of proves the point of, pretty can hide a lot.
Pretty privilege.
Of course, you put on pigtails and you get away with a lot of things.
But I felt like, well, maybe I understand that the vampires think that, because there's like a whole coven that like they're so about that. But then he's hearing this from a human woman, and I'm like, is it that? Is it the allure? I can't tell, or if this is supposed to be like, because it's Gothic literature, like under it all, is that kind of like one of the foundational threads through her book? I don't know. That's my last thought.
Well, that's a good point. And I mean, in this series, certainly, I don't think there are any plain looking vampires, right? They're all amazing looking, whether they're young. And that's the other thing that I've started noticing, especially, Kat, after you mentioned with Armand and the age. Because unfortunately, having seen Queen of the Damned, I keep thinking Banderas, and dude's old. I mean, Armand is a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe that's why Daniel, in those first few episodes I watched, is really bugging me, because Daniel is young and we know what's coming ahead with Armand and Daniel. And so to see him as an older person in the show was like, that's not going to work. And I'm also thinking, because of in the movie Queen of the Damned, we've got Banderas as Armand, and yet Armand is actually a teenager, excuse me, a teenager in the books, which definitely makes everything different from the time that he was first kidnapped as a child. And then he goes with Marius, and then there's another kidnapping, because after the attack, that wouldn't happen with an older individual. Like, it wouldn't be anywhere near the trauma or impact that it was for a young Armand, human or turned into a vampire.
I will rebut this.
I knew you would.
On the show, look at that. On the show, all that stuff still happens when he's young. They haven't shown it yet, but they have like brought it up in season 2. So I think they're not showing it yet because there's a lot of manipulation that's going on. Like for all of us as a reader, we read book 1. That was like the only book she was going to write. Then she continued it. Then she shifted it. So the show itself kind of made that meta connection of Louis is going to tell a story, but it's going to be highly skewed. He wants you to be seduced by the story, but what you're seeing, you will be questioning it. And it's a kind of show you could go back and watch again by the time you see season 2 and realize like what lies are being teased out, because they are like very carefully planted there. So they did age up Armand a little bit, but everything that the traumatic experiences he had as a child still happened. And as far as the character Daniel goes, the way that they're adapting the Devil's Minion chapter on the show, it's like it's everywhere. Like even though how do I say this? I'm trying to say it quickly. So for those of you that haven't seen it, that first interview in Interview Vampire happens. It wasn't finished. Louis still attacks Daniel, and then years later,
I don't remember Louis attacking him in the book.
He
Am
did
I
like at the
forgetting
end.
something?
Yeah, at the end when Daniel is like, "Give me the gift," like you don't understand your own story.
Okay.
He kind of quickly attacks him, and then Louis takes off, and then it ends with Daniel playing the tape and taking down Lestat's address.
Oh, okay. See,
So
I completely forgot that. So, all right, sorry for. Yep.
No, come on. You know I talk too much. This, yeah, I'm unhinged. You have to stop me. So
no, you don't talk too much. This is great.
So then, what happens is the way that the show is adapting that is saying that still happened, but their interview didn't finish, and that yes, Daniel, he's known as the boy in that first book. He was allowed to age. He becomes a journalist. He has this he's like a Pulitzer Prize winning author. So he's kind of like a vessel for the audience, because we're watching it, and whether you read the books or not, you're like, this Louis, you're lying to yourself. You're Delulu. Like, keep playing that violin. And so he gets to really interrogate Louis' story throughout in a way. And back to the connection to Devil's Minion. And Devil's Minion, what happens in the book is that Daniel gets a name. He's still young in the book. He's still like a young adult. But instead he runs into Armand, and then they do this cat and mouse BDSM thing, right? So in the books, we even hear how Armand's like always making him all this food, this glorious food. So in Dubai, I'll probably spill the beans. Oh yeah, because he saw that first season. Okay. So there's always food being put out for Daniel. And he is kind of getting into it with Louis. And then in season 2, when we realize this assistant is actually Armand, that's 2 parallels. One is it's a nod to Tale the Body Thief. We're seeing like identities switch. And the other one is that we actually see that in the first season, Armand has a different name because he's pretending to be Louis' assistant, but he's taking care of everything. Armand likes movies and digital, so he's like always on an iPad. And also he's watching the story because in a way he's kind of wants to direct it like a play, like he was in theater back in the day at the Paris Theater, because he has a vested interest in how this pans out. If this story gets out, he doesn't want himself to look bad. But I also think that they're not saying on the show just yet, it's going to be like a spoiler reveal more so.
Right.
In season 3, because by the end of season 2, Daniel does get turned into the vampire, but he starts to get memories. So he remembers that he's like, oh my gosh, Armand was there back with our first interview. And we see that not only is this cat and mouse snickering with Armand is part of that Devil's Minion, there's like a friction and an attraction they're kind of playing with. But actually what the show doesn't know yet is Armand was there like at the interview. Daniel can't remember it. And I also think Daniel does not remember that everything that happened in Devil's Minion already happened, but it happened in 1970s. And he doesn't remember Armand. So Daniel on the show is reading Louis a filth. He's rating Armand a filth. He's like, you two queens are so delulu. He doesn't know that he's a queen. He's a queen too.
Oh, forgot Daniel was in the
Yeah,
book.
that can,
Yep. He had like the blood necklace or something, and yeah, him and Armand were very like weird. Like, I mean, I get Armand is really old, but it's another kind of like Claudia. He was a child, so he should be in like a teenage, immature body, but he's like 4 centuries old and very like protective, paternal, but also kind of creepishly hitting on Daniel and eventually burning him. And then I just remembered something else that was, didn't David like allude to the fact that he's probably going to off himself soon? I think he said something like, yeah, I'm not going to make it to like 200 or something like that.
When David was human, do you mean, Kat?
Well, I think after they turned him, he was like, yeah, something about like he's not made for this existence. Like he was going to not last too much longer. So he's going, Lestat needs to find a second, companion to go along with when Louis in one of his moods.
Stuart, do you remember
down to one again?
You just finished Body Thief, right?
Yes.
Do you remember if David was implying that he might off himself? I don't remember that part.
I don't remember that unless it was like, I got it right here. I don't know if I can
in the first-ish part.
It, but
I'll have to skim through.
Because he quickly came around.
Right. And it's okay if we can always bring that, we'll make a point of bringing that up in, because,
reskim the stuff. Like, I could be misremembering because it's been a few weeks, but I could have sworn like at some point he was like, oh, yeah, we're going to hang out for a while, but like you need to deal with this because we're buddies, but this ain't for me.
So I wonder
when
he kept saying he did not want to be a vampire from the get-go. And Lestat turned him anyway.
But even when they were practicing switching bodies, Lestat notices that when he's in his body, that he has a slight tremor.
So that could be it as well. There was okay, well, you folks are glancing, and even if you don't find it, no big deal. I feel bad I haven't put up any comments, but Gareth has popped in. He's on his way home from Bath, which is so funny because he's going, someone said I need a bath? Margaret mentioned, Margaret, you've been mentioned in connection with Bath, Gareth. Gareth took that as meaning we think he needs to bathe. I clarified, no, we said you were shopping in Bath. Well, he may not be because he's on this no book buy thing. So glad I'm not on that. Then Margaret, and this is cute, saying poor Stuart looked like a bunny in the deer in the headlights with a pretty privilege.
I actually have heard a pretty privilege. I think maybe like these guys know, but like been having some repairs in our house the last few days, and there's a lot of banging, and I can't really get out. Kind of fried from that, so that's probably where. Maybe that's why I'm looking a little like in that way. I have heard the term though, and I hadn't thought of it, but all the vampires are attractive. But like, if you try to think like, unless you go back to, I don't know, Nosferatu or something like that, vampires are mostly very attractive.
They don't really make them gnarly looking, do they?
No, if you try to think of ugly ones, you can't think of too many. But that's probably why maybe a deer in the headlights too. So just kind of a little time.
Yeah, no doubt. How long are they thumping around at the house, Stuart? Like what time do they start and stop?
Today they stopped a little earlier. Today they stopped like about 3:45. Like last night it was close to 5, and it's dark by then too. So these guys are really working, but they're not done yet. I'm gonna go out a little later and see how much. Hopefully one more day, but I'm not sure they're gonna work Sunday. Hopefully they don't, because I don't think people should have to work Sundays.
Yeah.
It should be at least one day off. Even if you don't go to church, I think you should have the day off. But
Well, at
Um,
least a day apiece, even from you
yeah,
having to
from
listen
this, because
to
these
them
guys
go.
are really like they're really working hard here. So,
Mm.
but it's been 4 days of banging and power tools and such things. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
See, before we started, I share what I'd like to do with the leaf blower, and that's only, thank crikey, an hour once a week. I'd be losing my mind 4 days of, because, like you said, you have to stay home as well. You can't just like
Yeah.
leave for the day
In
while
case,
it's.
in case they have questions, and actually they have there's scaffolding blocking the garage. So I mean, I could get a cab, but there's scaffolding that couldn't get out of the garage because that's one of the areas they got to put the siding on. So
Oh, golly. Now, see, okay, kudos to you. I don't think I've ever heard of pretty privilege. Like, there's so many different and new terms, and I've heard of privilege, but I'm not, well, I don't know. May have heard of the pretty one. Now, Jenny is saying apparently in the strain, the vampires are not pretty
just want to
or
say
in a
about that.
blade.
Just want to say about that. By the way, I haven't seen the show or the movies, but the Strain series I really liked. The book series.
Oh, have you read them,
I
Stuart?
did read it a while back. Yeah, those vampires definitely are pretty. It's a different take on vampires, but
Cool. How many in the series?
I think there was 3 if I recall correctly.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like I said, I never watched the show. I don't know how long that went, but I really like the books. But they weren't pretty. Yeah.
Well, that's good to know because with this vampire series that I'm going to eventually be starting, but I'm not putting them up until I have 5 videos done. And they're only going to be once a week, which means I've always given myself at least a month to get new content up and not get behind on things. But what I'm planning on doing is starting with an introduction and then Polidori's The Vampire, which he finished for Byron, and I think is the first vampire story, and then just kind of moving forward into the future and reading different ones and talking about the different vampires. So I'll definitely I need to write that down because I know me mind like a sieve. And I'm rereading Edward, but I did plan on reading that this year. I know you're laughing. I can see you laughing, Kat. I don't even have to
Twinkle
look right at
frames.
you.
What had been called twinkle teeth?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, "Blah, Twinkle and damn vampires." But
Get out of my body glitter, dang it.
he is,
That's for the strippers.
yeah, he is a vampire. So, and this year is 20 years, which just blows my mind. But I have to, okay, so The Strain. And you said that's a good read, Stuart?
I enjoyed it. Yeah, the 3 books. Yes, just a different take on vampires, and it's like in some ways, it's like more realistic how the survivors have to live. And I won't give the details, but if you read the book, it's it's I say survivors like I don't want to give away anything, but it's I'll just say I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Okay, I'll check it out. And actually, it's funny. The paper I just grabbed to make a note on, you also recommended Witchling. So there you go. I have 2 notes of books to follow up on from you. So cool. And oh, here we go. Jenny saying 3 books, 4 seasons. Yeah, I won't bother with TV. They come and go so fast. I'm like, yeah, no. Oh, Miss Cat. Never watch Strain. Remember names if they're climbable. You and your climbing, girl.
I'm fun size. You gotta climb sometimes.
That's why you liked Fourth Wing. Chuck AI leaf blowers out the window. Glitterata vampires were a choice. Wouldn't it be cool if we all sparkled? I don't know. I think I've generated enough of a dislike for Edward that I like sparkles. I just don't want sparkly people and vampires. Everything else is sparkle.
I think I used to have the roll on glitter about the time those books came out.
Oh.
But I was also very young back then, not a centuries old, guy vampire pretending to be a 17-year-old.
Well, here we go. We've got Jenny with she's already sparkly, her personality shining through. Sparkle's just a reason they didn't burn to death, right?
They just sweat glitter.
So I may not have been caught up with comments, but I did manage to say hello, and I notice you folks have been saying hi and as well. But yeah, so in Memnoch, and of course we've got mention of Aaron's passing, which is why David no longer cares about Talamasca, and he's having that conversation with Lestat about, do you think I'm going to go back there, and I'm done with those people. So I'm thinking David blames the Talamasca for Aaron's death, because there's that whole boondoggle with the Mayfair witches and how all that's handled, and then Aaron ends up with one of the Mayfair relatives. Sorry, spoiler if you haven't read some of the witches. And so we see a lot of different things about the Talamasca between the two series. And so in this one, again, David's trying to help Lestat, who's freaking out about this entity following him, which is ironic because while this thing's following him, he's following Dora's father. So, it's like, well, somebody's following you, you're doing this to somebody else. So, hello, Lestat, like, does nothing ever click with this dude?
No.
I mean, honestly, between he didn't learn from Claudia and he turns David, now turned out all right for David. He doesn't have the aches and pains. Now he's a young, different looking dude. I think even his skin color has changed, does it not?
I think so.
Because I know he's not an old British person anymore. But, like, for me with Memnoch, I enjoyed the read. And I agree. Like, it's kind of bizarre how quick Dora just gets over her father's death. I mean, they weren't close, but she didn't despise him. She went and met him. And she didn't want funding for any of her stuff from him because she knew how he got the money, or at least she thought she did, because he was getting it other ways and making this massive collection of things to give to her that were not tainted by his other business. But I find it really bizarre to think that she would let Lestat get that physically close to her in that area without going bonkers. Like, it doesn't sound like she's really had many physical relationships with anyone. And so to me, that scene, besides just didn't make sense, that she wouldn't be freaking out, losing her mind with a human, but it's a vampire. And
Vampire
somehow
mind control.
Well, I don't know. Is that what Lestat's doing? Because I can't think of why she'd be so calm otherwise.
That would be my guess. Is I don't care how charming you are. I mean, yay, good for not being, oh my God, she's on her period, run away. But that's a bit much, a bit creepy. Like, no. But vampires, ultra charisma, ultra hot. Probably mess with the brains a little bit.
Yeah, see, I don't know. Stuart, Leslie, what were your thoughts about that scene, and did it really need to be there? Like, does it tie in with this whole biblical part? And I don't know. Like, to me, it didn't make sense why that particular scene.
Yeah, I don't think it was necessary. I think sometimes, and like Anne Rice was obviously a powerful author. Sometimes, like, you know, I think it's comparable to, like, I've read some Stephen King, and I think when I read their stuff, I think he should have, like, not put in the books, and, like, even if you're powerful, you should have a little discretion, maybe stuff you shouldn't put in the books. So, and I understand, like, nobody can say no to you, but still, you should say no to yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
That's such a good point, Stuart.
Is it? Yeah, that's an excellent way of putting it. Leslie, what were your thoughts with that scene? And because it comes up a couple of times, does it, when he first meets her, isn't that part of it? That
Yeah,
she's on her period,
smells her.
and then
Her cycle.
yeah,
she's all, going gaga over, oh, she smells so good. Lady Blood.
and then when he comes back, so I can't remember the timeline of when he meets Dora, and then things happen with Memnoch, and then he comes back. I can't remember how many days or the time span, but then Dora's still having her period, and then all that happens to rejuvenate himself, because can't just bite her arm. But again, like, I don't know, there was just something really didn't make sense to me why it played out that way, and then her running off to the church and they never speak again. Like, I'm gonna have to read those last few chapters again to just, it didn't make sense. Where was Dora going with all this? Like, he wasn't a savior, he certainly wasn't anything good, so why was she okay with him doing that?
I'm gonna be teamless. I'm gonna play the what do you call it?
Devil's advocate?
Yeah. I'm gonna say Team Lestat in this moment because he is a true feminist. Team. No one likes being on their menzies, and he took care of that for her.
But how does it tie in with the story?
Other methods, I guess.
I don't know if it's kind of interesting because he's sipping on Dora, then later on he sips on God, and then we could think about the womb and how it means an essence of life. It gives birth to life and stuff like that. So that could be a thing. I'm grabbing at straws here. I don't know, but also when he does that, they have an audience, by the way.
Yeah.
And she's cool with it. She's like, yeah, sugar daddy, do your thing. I don't know. I don't know if it's like if it's also there's assumption on Lestat's part, and there was also an assumption on her father's part about what she didn't know. She's a televangelist. She knows, she's like a salesperson. Even though she has a deep belief in something, she knows how to sell it. So I think she's, in some ways, she's got to be charismatic in some ways to allure an audience.
Yeah.
And to have a following. So I think that she's way more smarter than Lestat gives her, or anyone gives her credit for. Maybe she's just keeping that close to her cards close to the vest type of thing. And again, I still think she's like on the other spectrum of unhinged.
Well, yeah, because like you said, there's an audience as well. This isn't just the two of them, like when he first meets her at this huge empty, what was it, an old convent she lives in by herself in a tiny room. Like, I don't mind being alone and I don't mind the dark. But a big ass place like that and the creeks and everything else, and you're all by yourself, is, I don't know. She's not stable Mabel either.
But
I would
also
freak my own self out.
Yes. If she is I'm thinking of the along lines of Anne Rice and fundamentalism. If she
Mm.
is, and she comes across as vampire, well then he's by design God's architect. So he is Lestat is one of God's creatures. So why not accept something that was made in God's image? If we're gonna go, I don't know. That's all I could think of. And I'm not even answering your question back to the sippy sip. I don't know.
And the doggy did like him and follow him around, so he had to have a little good hidden in there to be like, I don't like my master, but you I like.
Well,
Let's
yeah,
go
'cause
have a play fetch.
that also comes up is him going to visit with Mojo and spend time, and he's got an owner and keeps an eye on him. I'm not sure if Mojo continues to come up throughout the series. I don't remember hearing about that in the others, but it might come up in Armand. I know it doesn't in Merrick because they're back in New Orleans there, which is funny because I got Interview with a Vampire because I wanted to revisit Lestat a few years back. And then, because my books were gone, checked the library. Merrick was the one that I saw. So I actually read Merrick after Interview. So I've been like all over the place with the series, front, back, middle, back to, and then now that we've started the group read, I've been reading them in order. And I have no idea where I was going with that. Mind is a beautiful thing. I miss mine. There might have been something important there, but
We'll find it.
it's Gandhi. It might come up in a bit, but yeah,
We'll back later.
Yeah, I mean, she does really in this one. Maybe it was your fundamentalist comment, Leslie, but like in this one, and you've shared as well, Stuart, she really delves into that biblical good, evil. Which side are they on? Are humans just like little pawns for God and Memnoch to play with, and they're just kind of moving things around to see how it goes? And I don't know enough about Anne Rice. I've never really gotten into that part of, is this when she was starting to go back to Born Again and really went into the, oh, I shouldn't have written those books, they're terrible? Or was this the start of that questioning and her process of, what do I actually believe or not? And maybe that's why writing it this way was her way of kind of coming to terms with what she thought about either a belief system or religion, or, the traditional Catholic Christian way of looking at things. And then going through this, like I say, I don't know where the time period is of when she suddenly went really uber religious. My books are terrible, should never have written them. And then she goes back to, wait a minute. No, they were okay. And I'm all right with where I'm at in the world. Because she did at some point stop being, I don't know if you'd call her fanatical or what it was, but for a while she definitely had an issue with her work. Because I remember being in Indigo shopping and looking at different books and hearing these two people going, oh, thank goodness, she said her stuff is all trash and yada yada. And I'm like, really? Okay, whatever. I won't be having a chat with you in the books.
It was after Blood Canticle, I think.
Oh, okay, so
when she started going in all the like religious books.
So then, see here, this is handy.
And then she did that, and then she came back for a blood communion 15 years later.
So yeah, that's going to be it, because we're just coming up to the Vampire Armand, Now, Pandora actually is before the Vampire Armin, but that's a little side book.
Yep, that and Vittorio is the other of the new Vampire Chronicles.
Yep, that one comes after Armand, then Merrick. Then we've got the Blood and Gold. So that's interesting because that's the one you said with the two really different versions, right, Kat?
Mm-hmm.
And then
like, I remember getting
Blackwood
Blood
Farm.
and Gold from the library as a teenager, and that was a freaking nasty book. And then I was like, I had to leave it at home. My brother destroyed it because it was in his way. But whatever. I ended up getting another copy of it, and this is very sanitized. It's still what the heck, but it is not as many as graphic scenes with Marius and Armand.
Well, and then Blackwood Farm is next. That's the one with Quinn. Mm-hmm. And I'm interested to find out what happens in Blood Canticle, because like I say, the only one out of the whole series that doesn't get described or revisit in Prince Lestat is Quinn from Blackwood Farm, which made me really sad because all the others come back along with their backstories. So you could read Prince Lestat as a standalone and know the whole, like a lot of it without, some of the details. But you're saying Blood Canticle is when she got back into religion, Kat?
Yeah, that's when she stopped writing vampire novels for a while, at least. So
that
somewhere
was
in there.
Well, that was 2003, and then I've got Prince Lestat at 2014. So for about 10 years, she may have written other stuff.
She did. She wrote the Wolf Gift is supposed to be somewhat religious, and then she wrote some very openly, hey, here's about angels and Jesus books.
Okay.
She went full on, I'm not touching that stuff. We're hardcore, 180.
Well, and so it'll be interesting to see, because like I say, in Memnoch, she's definitely struggling or expressing what's going on with religion in her way of looking at it. And so then it's going to be, because Memnoch was in 1995.
Which she kind of makes the devil seem like the good guy in that one. And that's what it's like. The devil is the good guy. God is a prick too. I can't write about vampires. They're evil. I gotta, tell everyone y'all should be. Look at this guy. He's awesome. Go to church.
Well, but also keep in mind, somewhere in there, her daughter Claudia died. Right? Which might explain some of why she would be so angry with God, right? Because her daughter, I think, was even younger than the Claudia in the series, was she not?
I think they're about the same age.
I don't know.
I can look it up.
Yeah, because I can't remember, but I mean, that might explain some of her anger, certainly. Because I mean, religion can go both ways, right? It can bring you comfort, but it can make you question WTF, this omnipotent being, and this stuff is happening. But so Memnoch, she published in 1995. Blood Canticle was in 2003, so almost 20 years later. So something in there happened that made that big shift, right? To have her turn around. Because, in this way, or in this book, I don't know if she's really rooting for Memnoch or just saying, hey, here's the other side of what was happening, and I'm not really bad. You just kind of needed someone to fill this role. I was trying to help humanity, and I don't know.
Her daughter was 5 when she passed away
Mm.
and from leukemia, and her name was Michelle, and that was in 1972 when she passed.
Oh, wow. So, yeah, quite a bit before.
That was why she started off with the vampire child. Probably was her way of processing back in the 70s.
Yeah. And I mean, again, that would be huge. And then you've got this other stuff. But yeah, I mean, there's so many different things between Lestat being visited by the ghost and maybe for the first time ever regretting killing a human because he's actually interacted with them after the fact. And, you know, the guy's talking to him about who's going to look after my daughter. And I was trying to set this up and, you know, I wanted her to be taken care of. And now, thanks to you, you know, I need someone else to to do that. I'm just looking at Margaret must be watching Dark Star's video. Brilliant, isn't it? It's her WTF face. Yeah, okay. Daughter was 5 when she passed. Saw truck, very subtle, logo, back window. Would have doffed my cap if I had one. Claudia in the books, murder baby. It truly is. Love to see it. Never suspect the cute tiny ones. That's right, our little fun-sized gremlin.
Gotta keep the curly pigtails on occasion so I can get away with stuff.
Yes, well, oh, hang on. I shared my hair tiling. Almost time for supper, I think. Hair styling tip with Leslie the other day because it was so cute. Thanks. I had a few comments on my hair, which was sweet. But all I did was I washed my hair, I put in my braids, and left it in for hours because my hair is uber thick, so it takes forever to dry. And then you get these nice, cool waves. And if you can get away with not brushing your hair for 2 days because you keep it in ponies, you get 2 days of waves for free. No blow dryer stuff required. It was awesome.
I love the warm weather. I can just wash it and let it air dry.
Here you go. You faking your rosy cheeks, Kat?
No, unfortunately, those are real.
Nothing wrong with rosy cheeks.
I just don't have the poofy hair anymore. Like these don't make good pigtails anymore.
Sure they do.
Too thin.
Yeah, I love your hair.
I kind of like weaponized that when I had to work as a cashier. I'm having a bad day. I dare someone to yell at me and I'd put the pigtails in. Yes, yell at the little 20-year-old with pigtails in front of witnesses.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I didn't have any ribbons to really tie it together. Now I really dare you tie them off with little bows.
Okay, well, we were out shopping today because I picked up my library books. We went and got our bird seed in Arva, back into the city, went to my favorite bookstore, the thrift bookstore, and found some new finds. But before that, we had stopped at one of the local malls, and I happened to notice that there were mermaid tails, like very fancy, long mermaid blanket tails. So we went in the store and we looked, and they had little unicorns and they had purple shiny butterfly ones and other things. And I'm looking, and they were $30. So yeah, see, that was the look on my face. And I'm like, $30 for a fishtail that I might make a video or two with and have fun. $30, go to the thrift store. All right, let's go to the thrift store. And I spent $20 and got, I think, 6 books, and which I didn't include in the picture because I put them up on my post. I also got a big box, clear box, full set of recipe cards for $2.
Nice.
So yes, my whole trip at the thrift store was $21 for a ton of new recipes and 6 new books, and 2 were chunky monkeys. off the dollar shelf. So they were only $2. Yes. So no fishtail, but that's okay. I got a little thin one that I'm going to be doing a reading vlog with.
Actually, I have one of those. It was a Christmas present years ago from the adoptive mom. Little blue mermaid tail.
They're handy. But any other thoughts? Any other thoughts on Memnoch, Body Thief, the reads in general?
I just one thought is that to me, Memnoch was asking very intelligent questions of what God was doing. Like I agree, like with his perspective of things. So like you say, that possibly Anne Rice questioning things, maybe serving as proxy, because I thought like his thoughts were the better thoughts. I thought, instead of people almost being kind of like pawns, maybe in a way. So I thought he was asking a lot of reasonable questions.
Yeah, I enjoyed that part of it as well, because it does really make you think and look at the other perspective, I found.
And also, I just Leslie put an idea in my head that I hadn't thought of before. Is Lestat a bit of an unreliable narrator? And if he is, then that maybe Interview with the Vampire is more like than I thought it was, because I've always taken my thoughts. I don't know. It put an idea there. It wasn't there before. So,
Well,
suck it, Alan. Who's not here so I can say that?
Trail.
Yeah, but he hasn't. Now, calm down, little miss up in the air. Stuart hasn't said he's swayed yet.
Not completely.
I'm moving a little bit in that direction, but yeah, I'm still more. But yeah, it's just edged a few things in this book, and the fact that if he's an unreliable narrator, then that does shed more light on it. If he is, and as you would, as he said, you would expect, you make yourself more of a hero in your books. So it's just moving the indicator just a little bit to the Louis direction, but still size.
So it'll be interesting to see where we all are at the end of the series, because we do know Lestat changes and he's in all the books, obviously. Louis only gets one big book, and that's the first one. And then he becomes, well, I guess, yeah, side characters, same as all the others come up here and there, whereas Lestat's in all the books. So it'll be interesting to see when we, months from now, get to Prince Lestat and then the Atlantis ones, how people think about Louis and Lestat then. Has anyone else read Prince Lestat yet?
No.
Mm-hmm.
You have,
I've
Kat?
read them
Okay.
all at least once. And I'm very pissed because they did Pandora dirty in the end of them.
Now, even the Atlantis ones with those new creatures? Okay, I haven't read all of those yet. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see whether we still have the same Team Louis Lestat numbers, because I do know Lestat changes throughout the books and some of his choices. So I don't know. We'll see where Stuart goes, because he might stay with Team Lestat. I don't know, Leslie. I don't know.
I'm holding on to hope. I'm holding on. I'm going to be the car salesman, the used car salesman this season through. Stuart, you'll get messages from
I
me.
think Louis stayed kind of whiny, so
I think they're both whiny, but how they express it is different. Like Lestat is just like a negative emotion. Let me jump in my body.
I'm gonna be a drama queen and cry for a couple of minutes. All right, I'm over it. Let me go have some fun. Louis like, I'm just gonna be sad forever.
I'm gonna go read some books.
And then he gets dragged into the, Lestat mess anyway.
is very true. Like he definitely is not the leader of the group by any stretch. Okay.
Never let the mature ones lead the group. Then you never have any fun. You got to have somebody doing stupid stuff to drag you into it.
Well, then that would be where you'd have a Lestat in real life. 'Cause I don't know. He'd be an interesting human. Well, actually, if he was human, he wouldn't be doing near the stuff that he is for sure. But so we'll just catch up on comments. I feel really bad. I missed the whole Game of Thrones and others. Oh, that's Rosie. Waves from 10 minutes for me. Oh, really, Margaret? Mine lasted 2 days. Straight. Yeah, but you have gorgeous.
Mine gets curly
straight hair.
and slowly straighter as the days go on. It's mostly straight. It's time to wash it.
Now, Jenny has an excellent question. What if they're both unreliable and neither are accurate?
Yeah.
Right? Because
I agree.
they're both talking from their own perspective and experiences, right? And we don't know, like we as the reader know all the stuff from Lestat in book 2, but I don't think we know if he's ever shared all of that with Louis. And Louis's version of what happened with Armand and the Vampire Theater is going to be very different than the way Lestat would tell Louis how that all unfolded.
Yeah.
He even makes a comment about it. Well, yeah, Louis said I was doing this and that, but he was wrong, but I'll let him have it because he doesn't know this, and, he needs a little help.
And that's the other part. Like in the book, Lestat does, you're right, Kat, say, Louis doesn't know this, and I'm not going to tell him. Like he wants that bad boy image to stay. So,
well, that is the hotter image.
Yeah, them bad boys. Is there a privilege for that? Bad boy privilege?
Yeah, that's why you get all the girls. and then we go, you can't pay the bills if you're in jail. Now I'll go for the, boring one. Now that I'm done being crazy.
All right, so here's a question I know not. Is Lestat a name? Other than the vampire character?
No, because actually she wanted to like, there was a name that she saw and that made her think of her husband Stan. So it was actually supposed to be like Lestan or something like that. Because there was a name, like a French name, but she like spelled it wrong and ended up using Lestat, which is inaccurate, but she ended up liking it and just like stuck with it.
Oh, interesting. FYI, worked well. You chairing the discussion. Moderation to Kat and Leslie. Woohoo! Thank you so much. Whoop.
Where I try to instigate more chaos.
Well, see, this is why it helps to have moderators, right? Because I felt bad, but I could also see that the two of you were putting in comments, so that's great. Love that Louise, the broody boy, before it was considered cool. Yeah, right? That's sort of like nerds before Big Bang.
I need to rewatch that show. It's been a minute.
We've got all 12 seasons. I need to rewatch it because they're only half-hour shows. I know I got 12 seasons, and it's good for a laugh. Like, it's hilarious. I enjoyed it.
A little embarrassed for him at times. Like, oh, they really are. And I've known a couple Sheldons.
I worked with Sheldon. I got paid good money in the board to work with Sheldons.
Lucky I was paying money to share classes with them.
It doesn't break up the flow. And that was part of why I did feel bad about seeing the comments go by. I did try and I think I did say hello to everyone who came in, but yeah, that worked well because like we were really getting into good discussions and conversations, and to try and stop to read the comments would have thrown the flow. And I mean, there's a reason I've never been tested, but I swear I have ADHD because it doesn't take much to throw me off the rails or like, what? Wait. And then I'm like hopping a couple of train cars around going, what did I start saying that for? Oh, I don't know. It'll come up in an, that's why my lives go long. It takes me forever to remember what in crikey I was going to talk about. It's like, yeah, I'll keep babbling about something. We'll get there. Oh, emo man. Makes me think thermostat.
That works.
I knew I could count on Leslie for the lore. There we go. William. Hey, William. Still here, eh? Oh, yeah. We talk lots.
We got Leslie is our Pat for these things.
That's right. We got our researcher, and that's the other. I was so sad. Well, actually, I'm mad, but there's so YouTube, I still cannot post external links in my description box because I still don't have enough channel history. And I can either make a 6-second video that I'm betting they don't want to see, because how many times can you swear in 6 seconds? Or send other information, which I'm not doing. It's like, no, keep your AI cyber nose out of my business. So I have to wait till I rebuild channel history and all this to get external links and pin comments again. To be honest, it didn't piss me off because I put my Amazon on my channel page now. If people want to, help a girl out, buy pretty markers and coloring supplies and stickies or books.
You'll have to send that to me. Because I tried to click on it from your actual page, but it wouldn't let me do it because it's the Canadian version. So I had to. I went through, tried to get it through my wish list, and they're like, "Oh, if you want it on the U.S. one, you're gonna have to get permission from them. So send them an email." So,
all right. So interesting.
That's weird.
Well, and I had all these things to learn, right? I had no idea it would be different. So yeah, we'll have to figure that.
I didn't know either. So I was like, "Ooh, hey, it's not letting me add anything to the cart because at least I'm guessing it's like, but you don't have Canada money because you're in the U.S."
Well, and that's like there was someone but they're in Mexico, and I can't. Obviously, I don't read Spanish, so I'm like, crap, because they wanted a gift card, and I'm like, I don't know where the hell to click for. So I'll have to have like an English and a Spanish page and somebody with me, so I don't end up sending like, I don't have that much money in my bank. But with these links, what really pissed me off was because I'm co-host for Ghost of Christmas Past for the 2nd year, we have a Voxer group, and Vin had the link for it, which I have to figure out how to find the link for our vampire group, and I'll explain that in a minute. But so when I did my announcement video, I couldn't put the link to the Voxer group in my video. I'm like, YouTube. So, I mean, I don't have an affiliate program with Amazon, whatever. So whatever. But I do need to figure out how to find out what the link is for our group. And Margaret, you're still here. Margaret knows someone who wants to join our vampire group and the Voxer chat. But I don't know what our chat is. Well, I know what our chat is. God, I'm not that stupid. I know what our chat is, but I don't know how to find the link to post it somewhere so that they could join us. So we'll have to figure.
I think you could add them to the group if you know their name, or their handle, or whatever.
I'll have to connect with them because Margaret gave me the name. and then I can find their channel and maybe email them and send it to them that way. And so we may have 5 of us for our next read. But so is everyone okay then with Armand being November, December, and Merrick January? And that, well, actually January, February, because I'm thinking
February.
Hmm?
February.
Yeah, 'cause I think that's one I don't have a copy of anymore, so I gotta get Merrick from the library.
Okay, yeah, and
its
that's
replacement.
And that's what I did as well. But I'm figuring between everything in December, whether it's weather, emotions, holidays, all that, January goes by pretty quick. February is a short month. And, you know, we're all reading a ton of other stuff as well. Like Stuart, I know you're in different book clubs. Leslie, you've got all your stuff going on. Kat, you've got different reads. I've got Akatar.
Don't act like you don't love it, Elaine.
I'm actually in as a group read. Actually, Stuart, we should pull you in there. Because we're rereading Akatar. We're just on book 2. Well, Stuart likes them.
I did like the first 2, yeah.
Yeah. And we're spacing them out, so it's like Vampire Chronicles, if you're interested, Stuart. But I have to say, for as much as I complain about Feyre and Rysand, because I don't like the spice. I don't like the spice. But I am enjoying the group read because everyone's got a different take on the characters and the development. And I'm really liking that because it's helping me understand more about different things that happen in the story. Like Faye then is Mr. knows his Fae lore like big time. Vampires do this, this, this. This doesn't fit in the story because. And Hermie, the book hermit, has read this series, I think, 3 times. So, like, she knows these characters and the other Mass series. So she's coming at it as someone experienced reading it and really getting a different vibe from it. Jenny might finish Akatar. She's halfway through the first one, but again, it's like chill, you get it done. Noah's in the group as well. He's on to book 5. So as much as I'm never going to say I love the series, I do enjoy the conversation because there's so much more to these characters in terms of an adopted family and choices and relationships. Like there's a lot to it above and beyond the spice. Like to me, the books would have been awesome without the spice and probably 100 pages shorter. But yeah, so I've got the Akatar reads, and I think we're probably going to space those out too, because the next one is another chunker like this. So yeah, Stuart, you can keep that in mind. We've got a Voxer group, so if you would like to join us, cool. If you've got a ton of other reads, no worries. I'll be doing live streams and babbling at some point about them. Well, Feyre just needs high five with a chair.
That's such a Venn comment.
Stuart,
high five her right into a ditch.
I was just going to say, yeah, I would like to join maybe with a 3rd book. I don't know if I want to reread. I liked them, but like you say, that they're long to start with, and they get longer and longer.
Yeah.
So yeah, with like you know, if I could start with a 3rd book, yeah, because I do want to continue the series. So I just don't think I want to reread them. Not because I didn't like them, but just like I don't reread that many books. So
they're chunky monkeys, so I don't blame you. Noah hasn't reread them. He's on to book 5, and bless his heart, he might be done when we get to book 5 because that sucker's 750 pages long. And they're taking me a bit longer because I'm now counting the pages I can skip for the spice. Yeah, exactly.
And this is one of the shorter ones.
Yeah.
She's like Anne Rice that can write what she wants now.
Yep.
So they got to take it. So this is like, I don't know, over 600 pages.
Yeah, it's because Kat was laughing at me the other day. I said, I've only got 100 pages or 200 pages. And then I'm like, oh, Lord, it's still 150 pages. And I'm still not done. 624.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And I think book 3 is about the same, if not a few pages longer. Then there is the little novella, which she couldn't decide to put in this book or the other book. I mean, in book 3 or book 5, but book 5's already 750 farkin pages. But I could skip 10 pages because it's all literally boom chicka wawa. I'm just thinking her husband's got to have issues because if he reads her books, there's like no way, dude, you're keeping up with that. So I don't know.
Maybe he's an inspiration because he knows what he's doing, you know?
For 10 pages, ain't no human doing that, Leslie. Even the porn.
As long as it doesn't last more than 4 hours, you're good.
Different strokes for different folks, okay?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of strokes. Farrah likes her paintbrush. And I think before this goes way in the gutter and all mass. Any final
it already has.
Yeah. Any final thoughts? Final thoughts? We got our plans for the next read, Leslie?
Can I just want to ask 2 questions about
Memnoch
the Devil.
Go ahead. She's hiding. Aw.
All right, I had a question, and also it's because I was thinking about what Stuart was saying. There seems to be, for lack of better words, there's like this class structure to the angels and archangels, or
Yeah.
And I didn't really. The lowest triad is supposed to include principalities, archangels, and angels, but this is misleading. As I said, for we, the archangels, are in fact the most powerful and the most important, have the most personality, and are the most questioning and concerned. Any thoughts on that?
Stuart, do you
It's
have...
not just Lestat that has a lot of ego.
No, just that it's interesting. Even like there's like a stratification in heaven, supposedly, and some angels are more important than others, and that's maybe another questioning thing too. I have read the Bible once, but I don't remember details like that. If they said anything like that, so. But yeah, it is interesting. Like her version of heaven is maybe not what people would really want to have their version of. We're all supposed to kind of be equal and stuff. If some angels are better than other angels, and God is kind of playing a game with people essentially, and just kind of doing stuff and seeing what happens, and yeah.
So I've never read the Bible, even though I was born and raised Roman Catholic. We were just supposed to expect the dude on Sundays to, let us know what the scoop was. Maybe that's why now I read everything and I don't take anybody at their word, but that's a whole other video. So I am actually planning to read it, and I have an idiot's guide to help me because... Well, no, you laugh, but when I started Genesis, I got to book 4 and went, oh, hell no, this ain't going to work out so good because I'm already having issues seeing red. So if I follow the idiot's guide, which will explain some things, because I see it as a parable. Mm-hmm. And I love parables and stories with meaning and lessons and all of that. So I am going to get through this. And I have a study Bible to read and all of that. I just wished it wasn't all printed on vellum. You can't highlight really good on that. It is not annotator, book murderer friendly. But I have read a bunch of other books about angels specifically, and there's a number of them that talk about the hierarchy and the principalities and the seraphim, cherubim, archangels, and yeah, there's a whole structure to where the different angels fit, and it depends on who you read what all the different names are. Because the top ones, you've got Uriel, Raphael, Gabriel, Michael, probably a few others, Zedkiel, and a bunch, Sandalphone. Sandalphone and Metatron were the only two who were humans who were then turned into angels by God. The rest were all created as angels, however that happened. And she's got a really, Anne Rice has got a really interesting creation story for these angels, which doesn't really come up in the Bible. They're just there from, well, they can't be there from the get-go because you had God and then God creates everything, but there's no specific time in Genesis where the angels came into creation. It just focuses on the earth. The creation story is just the earth.
Unless we count the serpent an angel.
But still, in those 7 days of Genesis, when there was the word and everything came from there, there's no mention of the angels. Like the Nephilim and the Elohim come up now. Thanks, Leslie. Now I gotta read Genesis with a fine-tooth comb and figure out where the angels first came up.
I'm also going to throw in the fact that early on in the Bible, it doesn't say God, it says gods.
And it says in our image.
Yeah. So I'm like,
got you on that one. Already got 2 Nephilim books to work on.
At some point, I'm so glad I'm doing that because that's something I want to do, but like way down the line. But yeah, I definitely want to do that. I'll be watching. I'll be watching everything you talk about that. Oh,
it'll be a while. Yeah, I got me some vampires to read first. Nephilim's gotta wait.
Also, I know there's an answer later on in the books that I haven't read, but at this point in Memnoch, the devil, like, I just read that recently. We still don't really know the origins of the Talamasca. So I was almost thinking about the archangels, and I know I'm wrong, but at this point when I read this book, I thought like, oh, I wonder if the archangels are like the origins of the Talamasca in some way. But that was just my harebrained theory.
No, why not? We'll run with it for now. I got nothing better.
It's not really harebrained, but damn, Leslie, now I gotta read Lasher.
Because if they're always there, but they don't remember their origins, but they have all these books, these antiquated books, and they're not supposed to interfere, but they kind of do anyways at some point because they get sucked into the supernatural world. And if we're gonna go with Doris thinking they are God's creation, and if we go with Memnoch's thinking that the archangels are like the most personality, and to me, I took away almost like the most human. I guess my mind goes, oh, that would be kind of a cool origin story for the Talamasca. If they were here just to observe and write about humanity, right? When they're keeping track of all this supernatural world, because it's not really supernatural. It's preternatural, according to Anne Rice, which is also just natural.
Yo, now I'm writing this down because now you've just increased my TBR. Because, okay, well, I got to write angels, creation, when, Bible. And your question about the Talamasca, I think, and thank crikey, I don't have to read The Witching Hour again. I think it gets answered. Well, that's 1,100 pages of. Bleh. But your
It's a
question,
Ginny level book.
Hmm?
So it's a
Well,
Ginny level book, nice and chunky.
Yeah, it is, but it's like dudes into their 13-year-old relatives. No, thank you. Ugh. Farah disgusts me enough with her finger painting, but I mean, I can skim that. But I think your answer, Leslie, is in Lasher or Teltos
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
from The Witching Hour. But
Mm.
I cannot 100% say that for sure. So I'm writing Talamasca started when, because I remember when they're talking about the Teltos, there is mention of the Talamasca. But I cannot tell you right now whether that ties into the archangels and back to Memnoch. But Memnoch was written after Lasher and Teltos because Aaron's already dead. Aaron Leitner, who was pissed me off. She killed him off because he was an amazing character like David Talbot from the Talamasca. But I think that creation story of Talamasca comes up there.
So going on to your discussion about Aaron Leitner dying.
Yeah, whoops, sorry, spoiler, but I warned everybody.
This came out in like 93, and for all intents and purposes, she meant Armand to stay dead.
Oh, really?
Until we got this book like 3 years later, because she instantly regretted that she basically killed him. What were your thoughts about Armand going into the sun in this book?
Forgot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Armand. Forgive her.
Whoops, did you kick it? My bad. I just knew there was a next book, so maybe I just.
Stuart?
That's a good point, though. But yeah, Stuart, did you think Armand was dead?
I don't recall that. No, so
All three of us.
I must have. I don't know, because it wasn't that long ago. I read the Memnoch the Devil. It's pretty recent, unlike the first three books. So I don't recall. I would have thought something like that would have stuck in my mind, but I don't recall it.
Well, there were a lot of things going on at the end, though, for sure. Yeah, because, all right, I'm thinking, and this is where I think I was just so grossed out by that whole Dora scene. But then they're at the church, and different things are happening with different vampires. Yeah, see, now I got to read that ending again because it really didn't make sense to me with what was going on at the end. Like, is she making Lestat a hero? Or saying that God saved them? Like, the ending, I think, really did confuse me with what's going on with the vampires and stuff.
All I know is that she got the veil, like Lestat was able to get the veil, and then she took off with it. And for her, she's just like, it's actual proof. And she runs. And I kind of felt like for Armand, since he kind of like grew up in this cult and was taken into it.
Yeah.
And has these very philosophical conversations with Louis in that first book. We know he's someone that is very, like, in other words, like religious.
Yeah.
And so for him to see that veil and to think about all the terrible things he's done, he's like, that's it. I'm going into the fire. I'm going to the sun, I guess.
So the remorse.
So he runs into the sun, and then Lestat, the vampires pull like Lestat away.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely have to, because I remember her, like, basically she used Lestat for the veil. And once she got her little paws on that, then it became, a whole big thing in the church. And that's why I really wonder if Anne Rice was maybe just kind of trying to think out loud her own questioning with the church and the faith of, making Memnoch not seem as bad and kind of explaining or trying to rationalize or whatever his version. And then there's God and his version, and they let David listen into a little bit of what was going on when David's wait a minute. No, David's a vampire at this point, isn't he, when he overheard them?
No, I think he was supposed to have overheard.
Was
when
it
he
way
was still,
back?
like a young human, like back when he was still doing his hunting trips and whatnot.
Oh, was that when he was just starting in the Talamasca?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
never related it to anyone until he was vampire, I think.
Yeah, because he hadn't shared
like,
it.
tiger hunting and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, there really is a lot you could talk about in this book, just from the way she describes Memnoch and God and everything that's happening. And the vampires are almost on the sidelines in this one. Like, this one doesn't really have a whole lot of vampire stuff. Most of it is literally Lestat and Memnoch going through this time period and really assessing and talking about what's happening. And that's why it really struck me as this is kind of Rice's way of working through her own belief systems through these characters. But then, did we say it was almost 20 years before she really switched in terms of her beliefs?
In like 2004 or something. It was like early 2000s, and then she went back to it like 15 years later.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out in the rest of the books. I think I did read Armand before, because I borrowed quite a few of them from the library, and I just got my own copy recently. Merrick, I know, doesn't really get deep into the religious part, and it did frustrate me because I got it because I thought there was a much deeper crossover to the Mayfair witches, but there's just kind of mention, but I'm not going to say too much as we get into those reads. But yeah, there's definitely a lot to contemplate with Memnoch, and as I go through, because I'll go back through the Bix books at some point to do like the webs and short notes, because the interrelationships and the changes between Lestat and his choices and Louis is, there's a lot to it. But I'm really enjoying having this conversation with people and hearing your thoughts and, what's standing out, and an enjoyable read as well. And just before, actually, Leslie, did you have any more questions add to my TBR?
No, just remember when this is done, and speaking of links, to share the link to my boyfriend's box.
I know. No, Voxer, I'll send you stuff on Voxer.
I'm just kidding. I couldn't help myself.
Plus, I don't know how to do that. Okay, but going started when either Lash or Reed. See, now you've totally messed me up again, you and your boyfriend box. William, if you're still here, this is like way too funny, because Thursday we were talking about, and William has mentioned, he's read the Urantia book, which is over 2,000 pages. It's a very interesting read. I have yet to read it, and it's funny. I was putting books on hold through my library today, and they actually had the Urantia book in the catalog, but they don't have a copy of it. So I did look it up. I might someday get it, but before I can read the Urantia book, I need to get through Helena Blavatsky's The Secret Doctrine, which is, oh wait, thank goodness she has an index, bless her heart. 1,209 pages. I'm gonna be reading this for a little bit, and I think the Bible's well over 1,000 some odd. So, like, you know, even if I didn't read anything else, my reading plate's full. But Leslie, now I got 3 more books to read.
Which version of the Bible are you going to read?
Good question. The one I found at the thrift store. I can't remember if it's the King James or not. I'll send it to you in Voxer with the link for your box.
What a pairing. What a pairing.
Yeah, no.
You gotta have a link for your box. That's
That's a
wow.
right thing to do.
We'll see. You know, I do talk about, you know, you should read both sides of a topic. So, hey, the Bible and the box is kind of like 2 sides. But yeah, now I definitely have to check out Lasher and Taltos again so I can figure out when which one has the back, because I do think she eventually shares with us about the Talamasca and the creation. I just can't remember if it comes up in the Chronicles or Mayfair. But yeah, I think, oh, I gotta write a note. So Stuart, Akatar, because yeah, I don't know if we're starting book 3 in December, possibly January, I think, Stuart. So
Okay.
I will let you know and add you to the chat. I'm going to say thank you so much to everyone who could join us. Sorry I didn't put comments up on the screen, but I think, and thank you so much, Kat and Leslie, for the not monitoring. What am I trying to say? Moderating. That's it. Moderating.
Same thing.
Yeah. Tomato,
Moderating for all the
tomato.
spice.
But thank you so much to all 3 of you for joining. Thank you to Alan. Sorry, his battery was running low. And we're going to say, oh, did you have something, Stuart?
No, just waving by.
Okay. Yeah, it's good because unlike Mark,